While the left continues to promote hate and racism, the markets continue to scream higher, and there appears to be only issues in the states that are run by the left. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, August the 30th, and boy, does time fly as we just get through another month and after a dramatic summer rally. But the summer's been filled with a lot of hatred, a lot of racism. But it's interesting that much of the racism is being promoted by the left as they continue to try to take over the government, as they want their new world order, and they want total control. Now, again, you can look at it any way you want. Again, this is not really a Democrat or a Republican issue. This is an issue of social and a group trying to take over, total control of our country. Okay. Now, you don't think it's a serious problem. I think it's a very serious problem. Just what you're watching developing right in front of you. Because the left is obviously trying to bust the economy by the very nature that all of the left states are basically closed. They want to see a recession desperately going into this election. So as it seems, they are doing everything in their power to take down President Trump and bust us. Again, from the free money printing to the continued want to give benefits and pay people more money to sit home, than it is to go to work, by shutting down and destroying billions of dollars of small business, and people that worked their entire lives to get to that point are now being part of the pawns in this big game that they're playing, all with the I hate Trump, and he's a bad man, and he's this, and he's that. In the meantime, who are really the bad people? Okay? You can talk about how great you might or may have thought of Barack Obama, but Barack Obama set race relations back years and years and years. So we can talk about the BLM movement, but how come we never talk about the guys that were maybe unfortunately and shot by police that are either too exuberant or did a bad job, and of course they should be disciplined immediately. This whole thing going back to Minneapolis, that officer should have been arrested immediately. Okay, but we don't talk about that. They don't listen. And one of the reasons they get in these positions is because they're not listening to what they're supposed to be doing. And of course, as we know, we have heard some that are reaching for weapons. An officer has got to make a decision as well. And I think we're seeing, this whole protest battle that is more politically driven by the very nature of what's going on. I mean, it was a true protest. Okay, we wouldn't have violence. We wouldn't have looting. I mean, basically, you're watching businesses that are still open being destroyed by looters. And of course, the other day in Kenosha, they arrested people that weren't even from Kenosha that were there loaded up with gasoline cans for fires and for looting and destroying. So again, you look at let's look at all the facts, not just the facts that CNN and those who want you to hear, but why don't we look at all of the facts and then make a decision? Do we have problems? We know there are problems. Again, nobody is saying that we don't have issues, okay? But again, is this the way to solve them? By continuing to destroy economies, by intentionally keeping economies closed, by intentionally forcing and causing all this grief through others, and having the potential, the presidential candidate who looks like he's ready for the old people's home of senility, and of course the speaker who looks like she's right behind him. Okay. Now, again, it's got nothing to do with whether they're left or right. They both look and act extremely old and like they're kind of losing it, which is common in people of their ages. So again, I'm not being age discriminatory, but I am saying that when you listen to them speak, I mean, listening to Nancy Pelosi last week was rather hard to listen to, not because of what she was saying, but how she was saying it, and how as they have for the last 3.5 years, refused to identify that President Trump actually won the election. Okay, so it appears that the Clintons are getting that civil war they've been trying to get for a long time. It looks like they're breaking America in two. And of course, what are their real motives to get there? And I think that is the big thing. I mean, we talk about every other day, there's 5 billion articles about how to hate Donald Trump. Whatever he ever did is always wrong. He has never done one good thing in the White House except create massive growth before the pandemic, actually shutting down a big part of the pandemic the minute things started. Okay, we can continue to criticize what he did, but we are finding out now is that hydrochloroquine does work. Okay, we are finding out now is a lot of the things that they prevented him from doing were politically motivated. So are we going to continue to want to live in a world of total political motivation that's really about figuring out ways to steal your money? Now, again, if you like giving up your money for nothing, then hey, you're in the right group. But if you want to work hard for your money and have the chance to make more and not be manipulated or controlled by big business, this is the country of opportunity, or used to be. But certainly the left right now, as left as it is trying to destroy opportunities for those who want to go out there and try to make it. They're showing you they're not going to allow you to get to be bigger. And again, you can see by the very nature of them in half the states busting them and not allowing them to open. So how can anybody make a living if you can't open? Now, why we are not able to go free out and in crowds, whatever, if you're wearing a mask. Now, again, I don't know that I'm either way with the mask, but I will follow that direction. But again, I go back to why can't we as Americans make our own decisions? If you're at high risk, stay home. But if you're not at high risk, why are we being restricted? Why are we restricting businesses from opening? To me, there's a lot of issues in that whole message that's being sent. And it reminds me very much of the racists of Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. Again, you can say they were great, whatever they were, but they were racist, okay? They were anti-white. So let's not forget that in this country, we have seen a lot from both sides, okay? And a lot of these so-called leaders create this tension and this fight. Now, we all know, as I said, there's a lot of work to be done because there's plenty of issues to discuss. There's plenty of injustice in this world that has to be addressed. But the way that it's being addressed right now, in my opinion, is not. Okay. But again, that's one man's opinion. And again, I've lived through it. I've lived through from the beginning on both sides. Okay. So again, it's not like I'm talking like I don't have any ideas what's going here. I lived through it on both sides personally, from being a hated Jew to being involved in integration in the 60s. So I understand it, and I can sympathize with it and hope that we can get better than we are with this. But when you have a group promoting nothing but hatred, it's hard to get better. Okay. Now, again, we continue to watch what's going on in the world, and the central banks are they driving up the price of gold? I don't know. I mean, again, I don't watch news for what I think the markets are doing. We use our algorithms, so we don't really worry about that. But you've got, everywhere you go, you have to be fear for your life because there's so many. I mean, you look at Portland, you look at Kenosha, which is really next door to me, and it doesn't make me very comfortable. when you see, you would think you're in Kosovo. Okay. So again, I have to wonder where we're trying to go with all this. All of the manipulation of the monetary system by the Fed has done absolutely nothing. Okay. All it's done is what? It's created a bigger debt for you and for me so that our children will have to pay these debts. They will never get out, is really what's happening. The overall debt being created will never get out. And that is first and foremost because you refuse to let the economy grow because you don't want the current president to win the term. He's going to win anyways. So they're doing all this damage for nothing. Okay, all in because of the hatred. And it's not necessarily their hatred because of who he is. It's their hatred because of what he did. And he took away much of the monetary free money from all of these lobbyists and people on both sides. I mean, how is it that a guy like Joe Biden and Jill Biden, okay, in their whole lives together combined, they made about $7.5 million. Okay. How is it that they're worth $35 million today? The math, no matter what you did, the math and the logic does not work with that model. So where did all that money come from? Remember, we all know, if you don't know, you should, many of these deals that go on, many of these agreements that are made from country to country, whatever, usually involve some sort of payoff. It is no different than the bills that get passed every day in Congress or the Senate, where they pad, somebody wants something, they pad it on, and if you want me to sign this bill, you got to give me this. I mean, the sausage you're making is a joke. Okay, I did watch myself because I'm about ready to really think. But this whole model of the American government today is so flawed and so far into stealing, because that's where the real hatred comes in for the president, because he stopped the stealing. He is draining the swamp. And I got news for you. Anybody who can take the abuse that this man has taken over the last 3.5 years, from morning till night, 7 days a week, they are beating on him like a drum. And he continues to get up and continue to charge, and he gets up and try to move the economy in the favors of the American people. And nobody in history has created more jobs for minorities, for anybody, and nobody has done more to try to continue to stimulate growth that everybody said couldn't be done. And why couldn't it be done? Because it couldn't be done because if it did do it, it would take away from that group's ability to overpower the government and take over, creating Venezuela. And again, if you don't think it can happen, you're watching it happen right in front of you. And I'm telling you now, we better do something, because pretty soon it will be too late. And I beg you to take a look and try to understand it, because even Glenn Beck, who destroyed, and he's on this side, but he destroyed President Trump, and he's given him a very apology for what he's been able to do with the markets, with the economy. But again, he's in process of rebuilding it again. Okay, so they tore it down. He got a bad break on a virus that I am convinced that China sent over intentionally. Okay, I have no doubt in my mind that this was done intentionally. Okay, this was not. I cannot believe it was by accident. Hopefully it was, but I can't believe it was by accident. So I think what you're seeing is the very nature of a new complicated or complex chemical warfare that was sent over in the views as a pandemic. Because what did that really do? It's starting to shut it down. And I believe that China would also like to get back in bed with the Bidens of the world and the Pelosi's of the world and that group, because of course it was easy for them because they gave up everything. Okay, they gave it all up automatically. Why? For the money, like everything else. Again, you can look at it any way you want. And again, we're all, the nice thing about being an American, we all get the chance for our opinion. Okay, but at the end of the day, Okay, this new world order they're trying to build is plenty scary. And you have the chance, and this is what I tell you, I don't care who you vote for when it comes November, but get off your ass and go vote for somebody. Let's not sit back and wait to see what happens again. I think it's time to be proactive again. I'm a big advocate of voting, okay, of doing something. It doesn't have to be for who I want. It doesn't have to be for my candidate. I just want you to do it, okay? So again, keep that in mind and try to observe and try to project this out in the future, because the future does not look bright based on what's going on today. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Top of Horowitz. We'll be right back with more after the break of Bubba's Bottom Line. Coming right back to you. Well, kids, here we are. And of course, we love to talk every day about our great brokerage partners. And of course, we all know that I've got other brokerage accounts. So again, but I do prefer for my futures and commodities trading, I prefer CTG Group. Again, they do a phenomenal job. They're the only broker that has letter direction for us that will allow. Okay, they do everything. They've got some great new products coming out themselves, and of course, we're going to help them present them. But they're the best. They take care of you. You got great customer service, and for options and equities, again, I talk about Trader every day because why? Well, because again, I'm paying zero. I'm paying $10 a month flat to trade with Trader, and last month I traded over 30,000 contracts, $10. So again, if you're paying that free commission at others at 65 cents a contract, it adds up. So I always say, why would you put your money in their pocket instead of yours? And check it out, Trader. You can get information at either CTG or Trader. Just email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. And of course, if you want to see, one of the best commodity reports there is, the Technimental, written by Andy Hecht, who's part of the Bubba team, is a 40-year veteran of trading commodities. Okay, at one time the biggest silver trader in the world. Plus the fact that he understands and has traveled worldwide dealing with the physical commodities as well. So it's called Technimental. It's at BUBBATrading.com. It's $100 a month and it's $800 a year. It is going to go up in price, but in the meantime, you've got some time. If you'd like to check it out and get it, you can get it now. And our partners at Family Farms, again, we're really excited. Obviously, we'll be more excited when we're allowed to get out of the house and be more sociable. But again, I'm really excited for what I'm going to be able to do and what they can do to help the farm community, because unfortunately, they're typically the ones that take the brunt of it, because of course you can see where prices have been, and there's just, it's just the way the setup works, and they're being very much punished by not President Trump, but they're being very much punished because we can't get the economy open. So again, I love Family Farms. I'll be with them. And of course, don't forget about our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line. Welcome back, everybody. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, August the 2nd. And of course, look, the markets go higher. Like I said, we're long. We're not changing. Again, we don't get caught up in intraday volatility. We never trade during the day. Okay, we do not get involved with emotional trades. When we do trade, we know what the trades are going to be about 3 a.m. in the morning every day, if there is anything. And of course, we then get to use them calmly and enter the markets from that point. Okay, and we do not get in and out, because again, we know what that whipsaw does to people and does to accounts. And being the understanding that we have, it's just much better to be able to stay there, very much similar to the metals markets right now, because the metals markets, if you were trying to trade them short term, you might have reversed 3 or 4 times last week because of the big downs, the big ups. We're short gold and silver right now. And, I don't know, we're probably down a little bit right now. Again, I'm not paying, it's not that big a deal because we're still short. But at the end of the day, we had a big down and then we had a big up. And then on Thursday, we had a big spike rally followed by a tank and closing lower, making out the lows. And then Friday, a bigger rally. So it's crazy right now, but we're short gold and silver. We're still long platinum. And that, again, we'll be that way at least till Tuesday. Okay. Now, when we look at the dollar continues to be punished. Now, again, a 92 area is going to be key, but it looks to me like it's going even lower. But again, 92 to 94 is where we are right now. So would watch either level. Copper, a couple weeks ago it looked in trouble. Now it looks like it's going to the moon again. Now, is it going up? Does that mean that the things are getting better again? Why is it going up? Are we bidding up? Nobody knows. But price, and we care about the price action, not anything else, because at the end of the day, it's always about price. Price drives markets. Natural gas was higher again last week, but again, I love being natural gas when we start getting into the fall, because you get some of those cold snaps, you get a real spike. So I'm hoping the signal stays long all the way through. Bonds got hammered. Notes got hammered last week. Now, there was a look like of a rally, but basically they got hammered. And of course, they failed from exactly where we nailed it last week when we talked about it. And we have reversed. So our positions are in great shape. We had another monster week. We had another record breaking in the futures portfolios and the equity portfolios. So we continue to knock it out of the park. But in the meantime, that's for you to check out for yourself. The grains, nice moves, starting to move higher. Now, again, this is what we were looking for. This is why we kept saying we wanted to be long, and we could never get there. But we did. We finally got long. But of course, that's what I like about them, is when they get to certain prices, I'm willing to hold them. But in the meantime, they are going up higher now. They are in pretty good shape. And now we look for, the continuation of these rallies. And they could get a lot bigger. We can see there's a lot of looking to see that we can go higher. I don't see another big sell-off now. There will be sell-offs, but I don't see another big sell-off. Meats, cattle, both, but one day feeders reversed, the other day fats reversed. So we reversed, and we're now short cattle. There's still long hogs right now. So we'll see where that goes again. Cattle doesn't mind me so much up here. I mean, certainly it's better than it was down under $1. So again, but I do still like it. I prefer to be in, but again, I'll wait for price action. And of course, the crude oil continues that baby grind higher, which is about from a trading standpoint, that's about as painful as a pattern as you can have. Now, for me, I hate being long crude, but I am. And of course, so we're benefiting from the long crude, and we will continue to do so. Now, is this bubble going to burst? Well, eventually. But if any of you are trying to figure out or time this market, you should get the hell out of the business. You should not be trading. A, it can't be timed. B, if you try to do it that way, you always put yourself in danger of being forced out. And the objective in investing or trading is not to be forced out by your emotions, but to let the markets dictate you ins and outs. And too many people believe that they can tell the future, and whoever says they can is a liar. They have no chance, and they have no chance to make money. I mean, on any given trade, you can make money. But overall, if you're trying to use your opinion or anybody's, mine, they're all worthless. If you're trying to use an opinion to mark price and to mark markets, you have no chance. You might as well close your business now. But one of the things we do know now, and one of the concerns we have right now, is that everybody says the market is never going down. You've got the Robinhood traders loading up the slices of stock. Everybody wants to open accounts. I know people whose kids who don't even know what a market is, they want to open up trading accounts now. So we'll see what happens. Of course, this is what it is. So we don't argue with it. In the meantime, we're benefiting greatly, and expect and know one of these days it's not going to go up. And as we just go through August was the biggest, this whole last summer rally was the biggest rally since 1987. And we all know what happened. And I'm not thinking it's going to happen this year. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, this market at some point will collapse, as it always does, recover, but it will collapse. But again, is it in October? Is it next year? We don't know. So we just keep playing it based on price action. So remember that. Don't force it. Don't fight it. Play the easiest way, a path of least resistance, and don't try to get yourself in the way, because again, the markets will go where they go. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Top up orders. We're going to step out of a break and come back with my commentary right after the break. And of course, again, as we always mention, our commodity report by Andy Hecht look, if you're into the commodities or the ETFs that use commodities, there's no report like this. There's none that have as much detail or any parts that, now you want to check out who Andy is, go to Seeking Alpha. He's the #1 author there. The report is called Technimental, and you can certainly check it out at BUBBATrading.com. The report itself is right now is $100 a month or $800 a year, but it is going higher. In the meantime, you're welcome to get in there and see if you can check it out. And our brokerage partners, Tradier for equities and options, a price. Price is a big thing. Why would I pay more for the same thing? They do a great job. They get great customer service. And for $10 a month, plus the fact that we have their APIs, which means that as we automate, we're looking by end of calendar year 20, to be 100% automated from our hedging to all of our other products. Why would you want to fight against that when you can get it for free, basically? So think about it. And of course, family farms, we love our relationship with them. We think they do a great job. I think they're like me. They've got the members or the clients in their best interest. And I think that's, again, I think in life it's important to try to take care of your people and your members, because without them, you have nothing. And I think this is what we miss a lot with the Shylark out there. So I really like the whole relationship we have with family farms. And as we move forward, again, let's see. And of course, we'll get back to open one of these days, and we'll be able to get out and show you and share with you. And I will do some presentations for them as well. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. We're going to go back to and give my commentary right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, August the 30th. And here we are. And of course, my commentary is about the NBA players and about the NBA coaches. And of course, the outrage that they are showing with their movement. Now, again, I'm not at all against movement, but my issues come simply here. Where were these people, these NBA players, when it came to China? In January of this year, there was a big thing in China about human rights, because China is the worst for human rights in the world. And they stood silent. They stood with Hollywood silent because it was money. One general manager spoke out about the China ordeal. They fired him. But now we're in a movement here, Black Lives Matter. And I understand, again, I know there's issues. I'm not saying there's not issues. But if you really want to help, why not get involved with the communities? Mouthing off on TV, striking from games, does not help the people that need help most. Where's the check you should write, the participation you should do in those neighborhoods? Okay. Where is the help that you should be giving, not creating more hate, but actually in the neighborhoods, helping, writing checks, and doing the things that you should do that would make things a little bit better for all of them? That's the same as Warren Buffett, who keeps saying, well, we should pay higher taxes, but yes, well, write a check, Warren. NBA players, I'm saying to you, write a check, help. Do something to make it better. Don't just mouth off. Go there and help them. Okay, that's what we're trying to do. This will help, but again, when you just sit there and mouth off and don't put your money up, don't do any work for the community, just talk about it, all you're doing is winding up the toy and the trouble more, making it more likely that these protests expand. And of course, the violence in these protests is ridiculous. And you're doing a lot of that promoting. So I think that, again, I would believe if it were me and I had that kind of money, since most of them have generational money, why isn't it they're not in the neighborhoods? Why is it they're not helping? And why is it they're not helping fund some of these programs instead of just yapping about it on TV and going on strike? To me, there's some real problems in the way this is all being handled. Now, again, obviously, these are just my opinions, but I certainly believe that there are a lot better ways to do this. And I believe that the way it's being done is creating even more of a gap and more trouble. But of course, most of the athletes, at least the ones openly, hate Trump as well. Again, this is, to me, a big scheme to try to get him out, and he's not getting out. So I don't think he's going to lose. I think he's going to win easy, but we'll see what they try. They try to steal it from here in. We still got about 65 days. In the meantime, everybody have a great day. Have a great weekend. And as always, I appreciate you showing up for Bubba's Bottom Line. And we'll be back tomorrow with a Bubba's Daily Update. And to all of you, have a great day. Have a good weekend and enjoy. We'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Bubba's Bottom Line.